Good afternoon. I'm Spencer Armstrong of the United States Air Force, currently a captain serving a special duty assignment here at the United States Air Force Academy Prep School. This is a place I went to school back in 2004 and 2005 before I went on to the academy and graduated in 2009. Now, for those that don't know, the prep school is made up of a lot of different types of people. Now, originally, the purpose of the prep school was to bring diversification to the academy, so there's a lot of diversity, as well as prior service enlisted members and athletes of all kinds. So it's quite a different mix of people with a 10-month program where kids are able to develop academically, physically, and militarily in order to be at a level where we feel that they're ready to serve as a cadet at the United States Air Force Academy. So my job, my duties here today are as football coach is the number one thing. I serve as the offensive coordinator where we play a 6 to 8 game schedule against some of the top junior colleges in the nation, all the way from Snow College in Utah to Butler Community College in Kansas. Now the schedule is 6 to 8 games, like I said. Usually the season wraps up in November. This gives them a good extended period of time through November to about mid-May where they can develop physically in the weight room. As 18-year-olds coming in, their bodies aren't physically there where we need them. So we prep them in the weight room and on the field doing speed work in order to get them prepared to where they need to be Division I athletes the following year at the Air Force Academy. Now, my social security number ends in a 3, so the first question would be asked to me was the challenges to loyalty. Now this is an interesting question, especially where I work today. Like I said, we have kids from all different shapes and sizes coming to the academy. A lot of them without any military experience. So they show up here and they're introduced to the rigors of the military through basic training from the day one. Specifically, I had a kid this year who didn't have any military in his background. However, he embraced the challenge. He was very eager to learn about it. One of our better athletes on the team. And so the trust was there and the loyalty was there from day one. Now, he had a whole array of problems and issues throughout the course of the year that kind of bogged him down in a sense. Number one being issues that he had back home that he brought to the academy. His parents were going through a separation, as well as his brother was having suicidal thoughts. So while that was all echoing back home, he also had to deal with the rigors of being introduced to the military, personal grooming standards, room standards, and just life as a cadet. It's different. It's different from what your friends are going through, and experiences that maybe your friends back home wouldn't be able to relate to. It's different trying to echo that and vent to people that do not really understand. So he found trust and loyalty in me and was able to vent through me all the way through just casual conversations, one-on-one, text messages, social media, all that. He displayed his disinterest in a lot of things throughout the year, but I felt like his loyalty was always strong to the academy and to the institution. Now, as the season went on, his passion was definitely to be here for football, but that kind of dwindled as well as his playing time decreased. He was having trouble in the classroom, so academics wasn't at the forefront, and also militarily that he was in trouble with petty things such as just room standards, grooming standards, and day-to-day military life. So I noticed over the course of 3 to 4 months that his trust in the entire process and loyalty towards the institution was going down. My first thoughts as a leader was to show him successes and paths of where you could go from here. So I introduced him to a lot of different success stories that experienced the same type of issues that he had while he was down here. So I brought two different people down here. One was a recent graduate, one was a current cadet, and these people were able to echo the same and share some of the same issues that he was having while he was in his early stages of being in the military. This allowed him to see a guy, a person, a cadet, or an officer that kind of made the track and progression upwards as they were struggling and dealt with adversity and was able to overcome it. So we saw instances of success, and it really kind of changed his whole path and his mindset on how he needed to be at the academy. So that was one thing I was able to do. The second was just being relatable. I mean, if you sit down for a conversation and tell them that you've been there and show stories where you weren't at your best and where you've developed over time. Those will help the person you're subordinate into becoming and realizing the talents they have and the path that they're on. So I think the biggest thing is the two things I did was finding people to escalate and show them past their success, and also just being relatable. Relatable can just be being there for the person. I didn't want to lose that trust factor with him, because I knew if I lost that trust, his loyalty to me and the institution would go down. This was a valuable athlete and a kid that we wanted around, and we thought would be a great leader both on the field and off, and had great potential to be a great officer in the United States Air Force. So with that being said, I feel like just putting in the effort, showing these kids that through adversity it makes you tougher, stronger person, and with that, a better officer, a better person, and a better leader. So that was my example of how we dealt with a dip in loyalty and overcame it, and we saw that this kid has tremendous potential, and we're eager to see him become an officer here down the line.